All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Mr. Paul Faith, none other than Mr. Paul Faith of Paul Faith and the Barstool Prophets, for none other than episode 9 it is, Paul.
9.
Of Number One Guitar. A very special, near and dear to my heart, archtop guitar editions, but let's not put the cart before the horse. Mr. Faith, thank you, man.
Thank you.
Very, very much,
yeah.
brother. Very, very much.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and this is you and I. Full disclosure, folks. Paul and I are very close. We're close personal friends, and I remember meeting you the first time we met at Carrollton Stations, asking you about this guitar because we both share an affinity for these archtop guitars,
yeah.
for sure.
Archtop lover, recognize archtop lover.
Archtop, yeah. They are few and far between, but they are growing.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, and hopefully they start making more of them, which they generally don't now. But we'll get there when we get there. Let's start at the beginning. Begin at the beginning. You are a songwriter. You are a band leader. Lead the band Barstool Prophets. Fucking fantastic, great rock band for my money. One the best, if not the best rock band in New Orleans. I'm not shitting you, man.
Thank you. That's very kind.
I tell you every time, your bass player he's a killer.
He will be excited to hear that.
He's
said
a good.
about him.
He's more than a good player, and as are you.
Yeah.
But before we get to the Barstool Prophets and Paul Faith as a current iteration of you, sir, where did all this begin? If I could ask, what is your earliest musical memory? Not necessarily, I want to play music, but what's your earliest musical memory?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm good at this, Paul.
Nine episodes of practice, yeah. I would say my earliest musical memory is my family would go on long trips. We never flew anywhere growing up. My dad was of a generation that they drove everywhere.
Yes.
We piled into the Buick. The Buick was a huge boat of a car, and we only had 3 tapes in the Buick, and we'd go to. I grew up in Virginia. We'd go up to the coast up to New Jersey. We would drive to Florida. We would drive across the country. We only had 3 tapes, and we'd just listen to one tape, on to the next. One was Les Miserables. I hated Les Miserables. I still don't. Hot take. I'm sorry to everybody.
Don't be sorry to me, man.
But yeah,
you got an opinion. Stick with it.
Though. I would wait for that one to be over. The next was Neil Diamond's Greatest Hits. I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot. My favorite was the 3rd tape, Phantom of the Opera. It's such a weird, but Phantom of the Opera, whenever the Phantom theme song would come on, I'd get jazzed, and that was always my favorite tape. So
now I'm very now I'm not confused. I'm intrigued.
Weird place to start.
Yeah, but okay.
But I'd say that's when I was began to realize that I was interested in music. I think a couple things happened too.
When was this? How are you, 5 or 10?
Yeah, I think in that 5 to 7 range. Okay. And that I really liked music and I liked to sing. And I think that's when I realized that I liked to kind of sing and that maybe other people didn't as much as I did. I grew up in church, just always had music in church. I learned harmony by standing in back of 3 sisters. There are 3 sisters in front of me in the pew, and they sang 3-part harmony, gorgeous 3-part harmony. And I think they trained me.
That beats family harmony. Doesn't happen. Nothing's better than that.
I think that if anything, I owe it to them. Any harmonies that I can pick out. But from there I kind of I would go to these underground rock shows in an old movie theater with one of the kids at church. He was a little older, and he kind of knew that I liked music. I was listening to rock bands and stuff like that, and so he would take me. He was like, "Yeah, Paul, let's go to these."
And how old are you then?
I'm a little older now, maybe in my teens, but I'm 12, 13, 14, maybe. I'm the youngest there by far, and I remember going to one. It's an underground show. There are mosh pits. It's in an old movie theater. The floors are still sticky. And I remember listening to one song, and I was like, "This song is awesome," and it was blaring. I was getting active hearing loss, and it was Bulls on Parade.
Oh.
And I was like, "Did these guys write this?" And he was like, "No, this is by Rage Against the Machine." But I kind of got an affinity for rock and roll then.
Heavy rock.
And that was a little heavier than perhaps.
I'm still trying to connect the dots to the dude that's in front of me now, because it's not Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, or Rage Against the Machine.
It is not any of those. I will say, I think it's
Makes it a little more interesting, man.
Sillily enough, perhaps, my musical kind of journey began after church-going family. My dad was a minister. After church, like a lot of church-going families, we'd go to Cracker Barrel every Sunday. We go get it. I've eaten enough chicken fried steak to last me a lifetime. I took years off my life.
I understand that, brother.
But in the country store, after you eat, you kind of browse around in the country store area. My mom got me a harmonica. I picked up a harmonica, and in that shop, there was a cheap, Honer blues band, but I basically never put it down. From there, I kind of fell into listening to, people that play the harmonica. At first, it was a lot of blues. Then I kind of discovered Bob Dylan, and it kicked the door wide open for me. I kind of had all these musical influences and things that I knew that I liked, but that was I listened to Highway 61 Revisited, and I was like, this is it. Yeah.
Just like every songwriter, there is that day when Bob Dylan shows up, and that's when the whole thing changes. Anybody who tells you different, he is lying.
But yeah, so I still didn't play guitar. I went to college, and my freshman year I landed in a suite, bunked with a bunch of roommates. 4 of them played music, and we started playing a little bit together, and I would sing and I would play the harmonica, but I came home that first summer and I was like, I gotta pick up guitar because I gotta be able to play with these guys. I don't like standing around singing.
So you're 18?
So 17, okay. 18, and that's when I first picked up the guitar. I saved up money, went to a guitar shop, I bought my first guitar. I bought it because it was red. I did.
You jumped my next question. This is #1 guitar, and you're talking about your first guitar, and your first guitar's identifying characteristic is that it was red.
Yes. It wasn't much good at anything else.
6 strings and red.
Yes, 6 strings and red. It really didn't have any other redeeming qualities.
Few of the first guitars did, I have to say.
It wasn't worth the case it was in, probably. It came in a nice hard shell case, made in a factory someplace far away, but it worked. It was a Dreadnought Dean acoustic. Dean.
Big guitar.
Big guitar, big booming guitar. And I think playing that, the things that I kind of learned from it was that I liked like the low end. I really liked I didn't like the tinny sounds that a guitar makes necessarily, or like a thin sound. I really liked the low end, and so, but that first summer, when you're a kid, you have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
I played guitar every day, 3 to 4 hours a day. I taught myself I learned 2 records, and I think these do inform my current self for better or for worse. I learned all Highway 61 Revisited by Bob Dylan, and just the chords, but enough to be dangerous, and A Rush of Blood to the Head by Coldplay, the entire album.
I got a lot of respect for that guy as a writer. You can strip his stuff down into very simple acoustic songs, or play the big orchestral numbers. Yeah.
And I think back then
Coldplay and Dylan. Not
Coldplay
a
and
bad
Dylan.
place to start, man. That's for sure.
It does kind of, even now.
Not a bad place to finish. To be honest with you.
even now it is. It informs, I think, my songwriting of I have this kind of harmonica, folky, Americana thing, but then I also really appreciate Coldplay, Chris Martin's songwriting, his use of falsetto. He's a big person that sings in his falsetto a lot.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing.
You enjoy that.
Yeah.
You're very incredible. We've had a number of conversations after gigs. I wish that I had the vocal range that you do. When the songs that I write are written around a limited vocal range. Unless I'm writing for somebody else, I'm writing for me. I can't do what you do. I can't move into those falsettos. Not comfortably, at least. It's just, and you do it flawlessly and perfect every time. I was like, holy shit, here we go. Here he goes again.
Well, it's always something I really admire, and a lot of those
One
kind
of
of
them's going through my head now.
Well, thank you. I do. It kind of was a thing in '90s rock, and I think there are a couple still that you could pick out, like Bon Iver, but Chris Martin, his falsetto. Jeff Buckley is another kind of one of those
great
that had remarkable range, could kind of go up and do his head voice, come out of it. But yeah, so I learned those two albums, came back, still had that crappy guitar. I think I had that crappy guitar for another good 10, 12 years. I didn't get another guitar, I think, after that for a long time.
Good, you learned to play with it. Yeah.
And it worked, and I kept going. I ended up, after college, moving down here, and I didn't really play out much. I kind of just, I was young, married, newly married. We had to work and get jobs and do all that, and I just played inside my house, and that's kind of what I did only. I would play outside the house every once in a while.
Well, fucking things changed.
Yeah. Things have changed.
As they say, things have changed on that one, yeah. All right, so the question then begs itself. Why the shift to, obviously, there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing being the guitarist in your house and enjoying it. You made a decision to do otherwise. What's that?
I think it, like a lot of people, not alone in this, but I think that the pandemic really did shift my priorities. I think a lot of people's priorities, and really, it's remarkable. I don't think I would wish for it to happen again, but it made us all stop and think about what's important. And for me, I was like, there's this thing that's hugely important to me, and I'm not doing it. So, yeah, when it became available to do so, after lockdown, and once,
And you're playing all through the pandemic.
Yes, and I was about to say two things, I guess. It made me think about what's really important, and then gave me a lot of time to really play and get my chops up again and really enjoy playing and songwriting.